Welcome to Sunburst Digital's Getting Started with Type to Learn. Today we will focus on an overview of Type to Learn curriculum, how to sign in, what home screens look like, how to create buildings. We will focus on how and when to import users or create users, how to edit groups within a building. We will highlight teacher management in regard to settings and reporting, and finally introduce custom content. Type to Learn is aligned to the National Educational Technology Standards for students. Type to Learn's goal is to meet individual students' keyboarding needs while inspiring them to be the best agents they can be. There are 3 default levels within Type to Learn for students kindergarten to 12th grade. Type to Learn focuses on improving students' keyboarding skills through a cycle of review, demonstrate, practice, and assess. There is a diagnostic pretest that can be taken or remain optional for students. Lessons and assessments follow a scope and sequence, and there are 6 formative assessments embedded in this sequence. Type to Learn focuses on 3 components of successful keyboarding: proper keyboarding techniques like hand positions, ergonomics, which are healthy habits for computer use, and key location, where keys actually are. Type to Learn assessments monitor accuracy and words per minute scores for students. There are 34 lessons students can utilize, along with 5 activities and the final challenge within each lesson. Upon going to typetolearn.com, this is the login page every user will see. You will need your account code, your username, and your password to sign in. Once logged in as an administrator, you will see the information displayed in the orange box. The difference between the admin and the teacher screen is the account information and ability to add buildings if you purchase multiple buildings with your account. The teacher's role can only access their assigned building, not all the buildings in a district. Students' view is similar to the teacher's view, except that they have a limited navigation bar to only their information. Creating buildings. If you purchased an account with multiple buildings, you will need to create each building by first clicking on the Create Building button shown here. You will then enter your building name and press the Save and Return button. This will allow you to create the buildings for each school in your district. Next is creating users and importing users. After creating your buildings, you will want to create your users. Go to the building you want to add users and click on the link. From here, you will notice that your navigation bar has more features added to it. You will want to click on the User tab, which is 3rd down. This will bring you to a screen displaying any current users, total users, and give you the option to create users or import users. These buttons are on the far right near the Help link. Importing users is suggested for 5 or more users, whereas if you only need to add a couple users, you can click Create Users and enter each student manually. If you're going to be adding a large quantity, then the Import Users button is the best choice. On this screen, you'll be able to download a CSV template and create your CSV, and then upload your students. After you download the template for importing students, you will notice certain headings. These headings are required. Usernames must be unique with lowercase letters or numbers, for example, student ID numbers. Passwords can be individual or universal. They are case sensitive and can be letters or numbers. The next columns are first and last names. Email addresses are recommended for teachers only. Grade 1 column allows you to set the default settings for each user by putting the grade number. Building 1 column allows you to assign users to the building. Group 1 column allows you to automatically create groups. Think of groups as classes. And then the role column assigns the role each user will play within Type to Learn. As you can see from this example, we are uploading the Johnson and Smith students, along with 4 teachers. There are 2 students in Mrs. K's class and group, and there are 2 students in Mrs. M's class or group, and so on. Once this CSV file is uploaded, then Mrs. K will be able to adjust the settings of Sally Johnson and Joseph Smith, whereas Mrs. M will be able to adjust the settings of Sue Johnson and Jamie Smith. Only the admin can adjust settings of any user. Once the CSV file is created, then you will need to upload it by clicking on the Choose File button. You will upload it first into Type to Learn, and then you will upload it and import those users into your account by clicking the orange button. An Upload User Preview screen will then show up. It will display the data uploaded and give you the option of uploading and overwriting any existing data, or only uploading new data. Press the orange Upload button again to complete the upload. If you didn't enter an email address, there will be an error message under Status. This is just letting you know that no email address was provided. Now you'll see the users you uploaded displayed by last name, first name, username, building, group, role, and grade. You can then click on the Create User button on the far right side to add an individual user. From the home screen, to create an individual user, you will again go to the navigation bar and select Users. You will then click on the Create User button on the far right of the user view screen, and a Create User screen will show. Creating a user, the first portion will populate for you, which will be your organization. If you have multiple buildings within your account, you will need to select your building. If you only have one building, that information will populate for you. Then you will select your building group, the role the user will play, student or teacher, and the user grade. The second section, you will type in the username, your password, and the first and last name. If this is a teacher, then you're also going to enter in their email address. And then click the Create User button, and you have created an individual user. Next is groups within a building. From the building groups icon, which is second to the bottom, you can have the ability to edit your group settings, delete selected groups, create groups, and import groups. You can create individual groups by clicking on the Create button, or you have the option of importing a list of group names. This function would be useful to ensure that classes are all named with a similar format during the initial setup phase or during the beginning of the school year as teachers change grades. You can edit group names by clicking on the Edit Group Settings button or importing a new list. In this example, they use the last letter of teachers' names and the grade number. Once the file is uploaded, you will see an Added Successfully message or an error message. Once you click Continue, you'll be sent to the Group View screen to then begin moving students to the new groups. If this is an end-of-the-year transition, or if you want your teachers to begin their uploads, you can let them know their group names have been created. Once you have created your groups and imported your users, the next role in teacher management would be settings. From the home screen, you're going to scroll down to the icon that says TTL Settings. And from this screen, you can edit both group settings, so an entire class of students, or one individual student settings. A quick reminder, teachers and students need to be in the same group in order for teachers to be able to adjust settings. So the first part of settings is your default settings. There are 3 levels for K-2, 3-6, and 7-12. In general settings, you can remove the music, sound effects, instructions, and narration. You can adjust the vocabulary and design levels also. There are 3 vocabulary levels and 2 design levels to choose from. You can also adjust the ergonomic break cycle and duration. Make sure to scroll down and save changes each time you change a setting. The next section in settings is lesson settings. In this section, you have the option to prevent students from going past a lesson and also what lesson they can start at. Security check option requires students to repeat the security check until they get 100%, or you can allow errors as long as they type the correct key. We recommend the settings errors allowed to reduce frustration. You can enable reference to hand support for additional visuals for students, and you have the ability to give students permission to skip to the final challenge, which allows students to move faster as they won't have to complete lessons and activities unless you require them under the activities setting. The next part of lesson settings includes setting extra help for younger students by requiring lessons A and B for kindergarten through second grade, the ability to skip lessons 29 and 30 for laptop use, and to set goals. Goals can use assessment goals, grade goals, or you can manually enter words per minute and accuracy goals. Assessment goals take into account how they perform on the assessments within Type to Learn. Grade goals are levels. K through second is 6 words per minute and 60% accuracy. Grades third through sixth grade are 15 words per minute and 85% accuracy. And 7th through 12th grade is 20 words per minute and 90% accuracy. The next group of settings is your activity settings. Activity settings give you the ability to limit and allow access to activities. You can turn off all activities, you can allow activities at any time, or you can require that students complete the lesson before the activities are open. Then you have the option of turning off the activity, an individual activity, making it optional, or requiring it. Students will see a white check mark if the activity is required, a red X if it is turned off, and a blank space if it is optional. If you require the activities, then students have to complete and pass the activity to move on to the final challenge and the next lesson. The next group of settings are your assessment settings. The pretest can be made optional if you want to have students start at a specific lesson. There are 6 formative assessments in the lesson sequence. You can allow for backspacing during assessments so students can correct their mistakes but still get marked as an error. You can allow students to pause an assessment, and you can determine how long the program will monitor the progress of a student within the assessment. You can display a timer to students, which can be motivational or a distraction. And you can enable automatic goal adjustments, which will allow the program to determine if the student's goals need to be adjusted. Or you can disable this to keep your set goals. The last group of settings are our accessibility settings. And they include choosing English or Spanish, adjusting font size, enabling audio when students roll over a button, and changing the color schemes. Another action in teacher management is reporting. There are 3 types of reports in Type to Learn: reports for teachers to monitor progress, usage reports for admins, and individual student reporting. Status reports are a quick snapshot of student progress with color coding for words per minute and accuracy scores for students who have completed a final challenge or assessment. Students who have met one of their goals are coded in yellow. Students who have met both of their goals are coded in green, and a reddish pinkish will show up if they have not met either goal. The detailed report will show words per minute accuracy and adjusted words per minute for each lesson and activity and assessment. And here is an example of the detailed report. The admin report shows a detailed summary of active students, usage, average words per minute, and average accuracy scores. And here is an example. The narrative report are their certificates. These are individual reports on each student's progress, which can be downloaded and saved as a PDF. And the last thing that we will touch on is custom content. Custom content is one of the exciting features of Type to Learn. This allows teachers the opportunity to create new material for students to practice their keyboarding skills. You have the ability to add content. You simply need to check to share with your organization, add in a title. You can label it with certain grades and subject matter. You can write an introduction. It could be a question or just a little brief summary of what the students are going to be typing. You can type directly into the content screen here, or you can copy and paste, and you click Create. Once you've created the content, it will be displayed here in the Custom Content Library. Here is an example of the preamble. The next tab over from Custom Content Library is Assign Custom Content. This is an example of some work that has already been assigned to students. And here is an expanded form. You can see that only one user was assigned this piece of content, where multiple groups were assigned these other pieces of content. To assign content, you're going to scroll down. You're going to select your group or your individual student. You will select the piece of content you want to assign and simply click Assign. And it's as simple as that. Thank you for attending the Type to Learn teacher training on getting started with Type to Learn. Thank you and have a great day.